Rates are going to go up and they'll start moving this year. That's my opinion, and they'll continue to rise. But for the last 7 or 8 years, they've only ever gone down. When we started this business 6 or 7 years ago, when our finance affiliates and internal finance partners would work off a client's borrowing capacity and their risk assessment, we would be working off 5%. That was the interest rate. So I've seen a cycle now, we've been long enough to see a cycle that, what does that mean? So from a money in, money out point of view, instead of having cash flow positive property, which ultimately means I've made 25K in rent, I had 23 grand in expenses, and then I got some tax back through something like depreciation. So after tax, you end up with $4,000, right? So you're cash flow positive. Well, that's off an interest rate of 3%. So if interest rates go to 5, what does that mean? It means you might not be making $50 a week. The property might be costing you 50 to 100. So if you're buying an investment property, first and foremost, I'm not buying property for 5 minutes. It's 5 to 10 years, 15 years to hold. The longer you hold, the better, traditionally. So it's really irrelevant. If it costs me 50 to 100 bucks a week, cool. If I can afford to do it 3, 4, 5 times, I'd pay $400 a week to have 5 properties, and I've done this before. So, and we do what we preach. So I don't think that's bad. It just means I get a high tax credit as well, because I'm now negatively gearing or I'm losing because the interest rates are high. So there's some form of tax benefit. But in answer to your question, it depends on your cash flow at home. So if money is tight and you have a couple of properties right now, rates are going to rise. But here's the issue. The issue is not with investing, I find. Because when you have an investment property, typically 2 people are paying for it. If times are tough with rates, the ATO is giving you a contribution through tax and you have a tenant paying for it. If you have a principal place of residence and you are over leveraged in your principal place of residence, this is where people are going to get into trouble, because who's paying for that mortgage? You are. So you don't have a tenant paying for it. So that is the issue. In particular, last 2 to 3 years, while rates have been so low, if people have purchased property that is, or they have acquired a loan that they probably shouldn't have acquired, or financial circumstances change now, they will be in trouble. And if you do think you're in that basket, the market is not going to continue to rise, in my opinion, even though we sell property. So for me to say that, it's my genuine opinion. It will over the next 10 years, but over the next 3, I think it will decline. So if you're worried about your cash flow and your position, you almost want to get out of this scenario before you face it, if you're talking about risk. So interest rates are going to be a very important topic, but again, if you're investing in property and you've got a good cash flow, there's no problem.